I've had a bad weekend.
It's been rough.
It's going to be a very special episode of the Foobar show right now. On Thursday, I played a show in Hollywood, but then at a certain point during the night, I don't recall what happened, where I am woken up in the gutter of our street, just a couple of houses down, by the police, and they thought I was dead, I guess. All signs point to me getting roofied.
Yeah.
Would you say?
It was a very scary experience.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. And you know, as a guy, I don't have my guard up like a lot of women are trained to from a very young age. You know, I told a few female coworkers what happened to me, and they're just like, yeah, you don't take drinks from people you don't know, which is what I did. When I was on stage, somebody handed me a rocks glass full of supposedly vodka pineapple, likely something else in there. And then at a certain point in the night, I just was lights out. And so my boss put me in an Uber. And then the Uber guy, I guess, just did what he had to do. He took me out of the car and he kind of just left me outside of what he thought was my house. He was just a couple of houses off. But I don't know, maybe a half an hour to an hour went by, and then somebody called the cops and then they woke me up.
So what I noticed from you, I've known you for the better part of 20 years. I know what you look like drunk.
Yeah.
This was not it. I mean, definitely some alcohol consumption, because I can smell it on your breath.
Well, and I'll say this. I wasn't going hard. And I know that I know people find that hard to believe, but you got to remember, I haven't said this yet, but I was going to have a show on Thursday in Hollywood and a performance on Friday. So I was taking it easy on Thursday so that I would still be able to go to work and then make that work event on Friday. Mm-hmm. So that's why, like, nothing else adds up, and it only points to this. So sorry, go ahead.
Right. When, like, and then, of course, you know, the cops are knocking at the door, and I see him standing there. It's like, that's really weird. Okay. So immediately I was terrified. But then after they leave and a couple minutes go by, I really start looking at you, and you are just like not talking. Like, your mouth is shut, mm-hmm. which is very unusual because you're a mouth breather. I mean, yeah. You are.
Yeah.
So I was just like, that's weird. I was like, can you say anything? And you could not say a word. Like,
it was very hard.
Even when you're drunk, you still talk to me. It's just very mumbled, incoherent, whatever. Your eyes are like blown.
Pupils.
Yeah. And it was weird. Like, you weren't sweaty like you were usually when you're like drunk. Mm-hmm. It was very dry skin. I know that's like a hit or miss with you know, these roofies, but it just seemed very weird. So I was asking some of my nursing friends the day after, and one of them actually has experience with this drug. Mm. And he was just like, yeah, that sounds like somebody slipped something into your drink. And then, yeah, another thing is that usually when you wake up after drinking, you are like hungover, everything hurts, you know, the light just makes you just like with a huge migraine.
Yeah.
There was none of that. You popped up out of bed like nothing had ever happened.
Yeah.
You were just like ready to go. I was like,
right.
That's so weird.
That's another thing. And you know, well, you know, for the rest of that following day, I didn't make it into work for obvious reasons. I mean, I didn't even have a car because I left it in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep food down, that's for sure. Like, I was just throwing everything up until like maybe 6 p.m. When I had a couple slices of pizza. But I've never had this happen in my entire life. Even in my wildest like college days,
right?
Did I ever black out like this? A cautionary tale, like I said, to everybody listening right now. Be careful. I'm sure to all our lady listeners, this isn't anything new. But nobody is safe from this kind of fuckery happening. And so, luckily I made it home. I'm alive. I made it. I'm here. We're podding. And just words of the wise, do not take a drink from somebody that you don't know.